Hey guys, welcome back. It's episode 34 with no loss, no regrets. We have Kyle and Isaiah self-quarantining. Not. What's up, guys?
Going on.
Hanging out, definitely social distancing.
Definitely, as I can see. Kyle was telling me that you guys are writing some nasty tunes right now. Is that true?
Yeah. So pretty much this whole quarantine thing, me and Isaiah just kind of sat down and started working on a new EP. We hopefully will be in the studio June 1st, and then hopefully have it out and ready to go by end of summer.
Dang,
Hopefully by then, all this COVID stuff is kind of letting up. We can hopefully play shows again for the first time in like half a year.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird feeling for bands to come back after such a long layoff. I mean, obviously there's people who have been in bands and then broken up and then started a new band, but coming back in the same band, not playing a show for, what is it going on now, like 7-8 months or so? Oh,
We haven't played since December.
Yeah.
Since December?
Yeah, we had our last headliner in December, and that was the last thing we got to play. We were supposed to play a gig this month, and that got canceled because of this. Was Scared of the Dark. Those guys are cool. Make sure to check them if you haven't. And then we were supposed to play it back in April on
Yeah, that was supposed to be,
with guys from Minnesota.
yeah.
It's funny you bring up Scared of the Dark.
Yeah.
Because I'm having those guys on next week, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are all really cool. Our last little run we did, we ended up playing a couple of dates with them. So we've gotten to share the stage with them a couple times. They're all really cool dudes. They're all really nice. Easy to get along with.
Yeah,
So,
we want this whole thing to happen. Like, we want to get them down here and party it up with those guys again. Like, just we really do enjoy them. So they're fun
For
people.
sure. Now, the first time you seen them, I guess the first time I seen them was last winter. It would have been like, what was it, October, November, somewhere around there? Maybe
when they came to Omaha.
Yeah, when they came to Omaha.
It would have been after November because we'd already played with them.
Gotcha.
When they came to the Omaha gig. So it would have been probably around the end of November, beginning of December.
Yeah, because we played Sioux City, and then it was 2-3 weeks later they were here in Omaha, and we all showed up.
We played with them in Milwaukee too.
Yeah, and then
So that was all part of the little run we did.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's a very young band that's doing like big things. Well, I shouldn't say big, but they're like doing things the right way for how young they are. It's incredible. That's why I can't wait to talk to them.
God, what if I knew back then what I know now, man? Where would I be, right?
Yeah.
Like seeing them doing it and just going like, why didn't I have that at their age? Man.
So what are some things you would, I guess if you could turn back the clock, what are some things you would change?
I would have practiced a hell of a lot more.
I would have never became a singer in a band. That was not my doing at all. I wanted to play bass and just hide in the back.
And what happened?
Him. And Casey Macon from Hurricane Like Me is who records us. And it was a mix of their two influences going, well, you guys don't have a screamer yet. Kyle, you're doing it.
For the record, I never told Kyle to do vocals. That was something that just kind of happened out of necessity in a studio about 3 years ago now?
Yeah. And then it just kind of stuck. And at the time, Alpha 5 split up, and one of my two best friends, Joey, was their bassist, and now he's our bassist. So it's kind of this perfect storm happened, and now we got our lineup.
That's crazy that you bring it up. You said you were in the studio, and they told you just to scream, and now you're doing it?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how that happened. I was supposed to be the clean vocalist and bass player of this project that me and him were going to start.
We held auditions and had a few guys show up before going into the studio, and we were kind of going to put them through the ringer and just try them out in the studio, to be honest. And then after having a practice, the guys that showed up just didn't feel right. And we just kind of, out of necessity, Casey just kind of looked at Kyle and went, you can do this, just do it. It was kind of the thing of this, the producer just said, yeah, you're going to do this. Shut up, do it. And that's what happened. Just being lazy musicians like we are, we just roll with it.
It's I guess it's kind of funny you bring that up because there are some bands where like the non-main vocalist, for example, like the bassist in August Burns Red, I think that guy screams way better than Jake Lurs does. Way fucking better.
I love Dustin's screams. Like he's got
Dustin Davidson.
Just like, oh, I love it, man. When he hits that, it's so dirty.
I think he's way better than Jake Lurs, or even I guess you can use this one as a prime example. Aaron Pauley kicked out Austin Carlisle. They realized how good Aaron Pauley was and said, "Screw it, Austin, get out. We don't need you."
But Austin has a way with lyrics that still to this day, like if you look at like essential like metalcore albums, the depths from Of Mice and Men is on there. Like that thing is stacked front to back. Like Of Mice and Men has put out good stuff since
Aaron
Austin as well.
Pauley's previous band, what was it?
Jamie's Elsewhere.
That one, yes. Blank on it has been forever since I listened to them. But that band was pretty solid too.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't know, man. Like I'm just saying, like Austin has done some really, really cool shit, and I think has like set himself aside to be one of like, I wouldn't necessarily call him like greats, but like he's going to be someone who is influential for people going forward when they actually sit down and look at what he did and what he wrote.
Right. I think if you say the name Austin Carlisle, people are going to recognize Aaron Pauley. You're going to have the people like you and I who know names of band or names of people in the band. But I think Austin Carlisle will go down in history. I don't think he's on the Mount Rushmore, but I think he's like. I
think he's kind of honorable, you know, like.
Yeah.
He definitely gets recognition. Like he's not going to be one of those guys where it's like, yeah, you know, like it's a name and it's like, yeah, you can swap him out with 3-4 different guys and never tell a difference. It's like, nah, he had his own sound and style for sure.
For sure. I remember like growing up watching his live video or watching like Of Mice and Men live videos, just going through them second to see. Like I can remember the first time there was a video of Shaylee screaming. And then, of course, like a year later, he breaks off and does Day Show.
Right.
Day Show's the shit. Anyhow, I seen the other day. It might have been today. It might have been yesterday. You guys were sharing your last single. The name of that is
Getaway.
And who's the main lyricist in your band?
I couldn't hear you one more time.
Yeah, who's the main lyricist in your band? Since you,
I write all the lyrics.
Ooh.
So.
Is it tough sometimes, you think?
I hate it so much. Like, we were just talking about it before we got on with you, actually. It's like, all right, cool. I got, like, a rough idea for a chorus and, like, what the song's going to be about. And I'll get through, like, the first verse. And then it's like, oh, well, like, what the fuck's it to write about for the rest of the song?
Right.
Like, I got to figure out a bridge, and it's probably a second or third verse that I'm just like, I'm here. And, like, with our the last song on the new EP we're working on, he's been bearing through me, like, beating my head on a wall with it for, like, the last, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where I'll, like, send him something, I'll be like, I hate it, never mind, we're going to rewrite the whole thing.
I mean, just with the demos of the other, like, 3-4 songs, like, there were rewrites and reworks, and, like, sometimes, like, I get 2 or 3 different versions of the same song in a day because he had gone back and completely reworked or redid this one line, but hey, I need to resend everything and show you exactly what's going on. It's like, dude, I gotta work. I can't be, like, tied to my email checking everything out and trying to, like, yes, that worked, that didn't work. But, like, no, I would say these new songs, it's been a little bit different process than the last few. And I don't know. We're both definitely, like, very excited for when this all comes together.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the song that we're going to be putting out the single. We kind of teased it a little bit ago on our Facebook and stuff like that, Instagram. We put the intro and like part of the first verse out. So we'll be going back in with Casey June 1st is the plan. But that one's actually gonna be called Void. And so that one's probably gotten the most rewrites of all the songs on this except for the last one.
Out of the
Which
bunch.
is funny, because it's gotten the most rewrites vocally, but it was the quickest and easiest to write as far as the guitar and music. We sat down and Joey and I started with a riff, and then all of a sudden it was a second riff, and then here's a chorus, and then all of a sudden it's like 2 hours go by and the song's done.
Song's written.
And I was actually sleeping on the couch while they were doing that. I showed up to like hang out and help write, and then they were on a ball, and I just wasn't getting me saying anything. I was like, "What? I'm gonna take a nap. You guys tell me when you're done."
Yep, you have that bassist mentality, I can tell.
To be fair, I started off as a guitar player, and that was in a band called Jazz Brown and the Afterthought when I was like 17. And then when I hopped in with Take Me to Vegas, they needed a bassist, and I had a bass, and I was friends with Josh for a long time and Brad, and they pulled me in, and I ran with them for a little while, and that's when I got switched to bass. And then I kind of just rode with it because I kept getting gigs as a bass player.
Fair. That's crazy. The journey of a bassist.
Yeah, that led to me playing in Hereafter and in this band. So
Now, I want to go back a little bit. We were talking about, I guess, using, what was it? We were talking about hearing a song a different way, or like rewriting the same song 4 different ways, something like that, right? Being that you guys have a Silent Planet flag behind you, Silent Planet, if you go and listen to their first EP, you'll hear clips of like their songs now that were in their EP, and they just took from it, and they said, yeah, this is just an EP song off the first one. Let's put this onto the album, but put it into a different sounding song.
Yeah. We absolutely. Actually, it's I was actually looking on a similar note to that. I was actually looking in and following what Enter Shikari was doing with their new album, and they did something similar as well, where they took a synth part from Labyrinth off of Take the Skies, I believe is that first like full-length album.
yep.
And they threw it into this new song on this new album called Crossing the Rubicon. It's just like this quick, honestly, like maybe 4 beats out of this song, but it's like a cool little like snap throwback to everything that happened. And so use it like, if you can use the same idea in a new way, why wouldn't you do that?
Isn't that crazy to think? Like you said, Labyrinth. You took me back to Enter Shikari. This is going to sound really crazy. I can remember being in my grandpa's basement playing Nintendo Wii, Call of Duty on Nintendo Wii, listening to the whole Enter Shikari that Take to the Skies album front to back while playing Call of Duty. It just like brought me back. And then to think about how long that's been. It's almost been 9 years probably since that's happened. And then I thought about like what albums have come out in the past 9 years, like how they've changed. They went to a little bit more electronic and like dubsteppy, and now they're a little bit more singing. Like the transition that band has made in the past 9 years is nuts.
that band is all over the place.
Yeah, no, dude. Even this album, it was very interesting because the first 4 singles that they released were one side and one version of the band, and then if you listen to the rest of the album, it's the complete other side. And like it was weird listening through the entire thing how they put it out and intended, because it was like, in my mind, you had built it up to be this, and then here's all this other stuff that I wasn't expecting. It was like well done, just a complete like 180 from like one song to the next. It was just nuts.
Would you compare it to like Landon Tours and The Plot and You?
I would say that The Plot and You, start to finish on an album, has a better flow than what this album did, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Dang, I'm gonna have to check this album out.
It is like when you can identify the musical concepts of like an opera and things like that they did for a couple songs. It's really, really cool, but I can see how a lot of people might be turned off by it.
Sure. You know
Right.
what band? You know what band a lot of people are like super hyped on right now? They just released a new album. Dance Gavin Dance.
I never was a huge fan of Dance Gavin Dance. Anything that like to me, Dance Gavin Dance kind of falls along like in the lines of like Rosa and like
See, now you're getting into
Thursday.
my side
Yeah.
of things. Like,
All right. Isaiah, sit out. Kyle, go ahead.
like way over on the other side. And then there's the rest of our band. So it's like post-hardcore, pop punk, all that shit's like me. And then there's like deathcore for like the other half of our.
Well, I
band.
mean, yeah, no, I mean, you're the emo bitch, and then like
Oh my god.
this is the dynamic of the band.
This
I'm just gonna turn my back on this. I'm gonna turn my back.
No, so he's basically kind of the emo fucking pop punk bitch, and then you've got the rest, like you've got like a thrash metal old school metal dude, and then you've got me where I sit here and bring like some solid fucking metalcore and like actual hardcore from time to time.
And then Joey is just the complete wild card. You're doing from like hip hop to pop punk to deathcore to some random shit that I've never heard before. And he just
spins a wheel. He just spins wheel. He's like, "Yo, what's this song gonna be? Hip hop. We're gonna put hip hop."
Like Joey will start playing something for me. I'm like, who is this? And it's some like band from the middle of nowhere, like Europe, that has like just been out for about a year, and I have no idea who they are.
And you're
Which actually led me on to a band I like a lot called Captives. I've been jamming them a lot lately, and Joey actually turned me on to them, so it works out for me sometimes.
Isaiah, what's the band you've been jamming the most recently? The most recently?
I mean, I've got a few, man. Like, there's some mainstays, but like as far as newer stuff that's come out recently, like the new Invent Animate album really has me. Like, there's a cool flow and some stuff that they're doing between some of their tapping and sliding riffs, and then like some of the ambient riffs and stuff that they're putting on there that really has me right now. I still go back and I play the last Silent Planet album pretty frequently. I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's come out, but some of it like really grips me, and some of it's just kind of like, I get it, but like it's not the driving thing that's forcing me to like it. There's not like a real burning need to listen to it.
Right. I was about to ask you before I lose this. Is it something about you having appreciation for the music, knowing like what goes into it? So, for example, let's just say a band like, let's just say like old Attack, it's sort of chugs, right? But if you listen to something like, I don't know why this band keeps coming to my head, Fit for an Autopsy. I don't know if they're like riffy or shit, but do you think it's more captivating to listen to something that's more difficult to write compared to something that's, I guess, chuggy and not so difficult to write?
No, because like I'm listening to Invent Animate, but then like I'm going back and right now, funny enough, Close Your Eyes has me coming back to their old catalog because their vocal melodies along with that like melodic hardcore is just so good. And there's nothing complex or difficult about that. There's just a flow and a vibe to it. Like,
gotcha.
Yeah, complexity and talent per se that goes into something. No, like is it executed well? Does the entire thing flow?
I agree with that. Lately, like for me, it's been like a lot of stories sort of far. 4 Year Strong is always on my playlist.
You and these, Taylor said the story so far, and I gave him shit, and I called it a girly band, so I have to do it for you. What is with you and the girly bands?
He's the emo bitch.
Blink-182 has been like my all-time favorite band since I was like 8 years old, and I didn't get into metal at all until like the end of high school for me. So with that, you can thank my buddy, our bass player Joey, and then my buddy Eric. He pretty much was like, well, you're going to start listening to metal because I'm giving you rides everywhere. Because I was 16 and didn't have a car. And so it was pretty much like, it'd be Eric driving, his brother, and a couple of our other buddies in the car, and I'd be stuck in the back seat because back then I was the shortest one, and I'd ride the bitch seat in the middle constantly. And so it was like, all right, I get like one pop punk song the entire car ride wherever we're going, and we go to like a concert, 2 hours, 3 hours away, and it'd be like nothing but metal the entire time. And then I'd finally get whoever's iPod is plugged in. I'd like have Blink 182 or like George So Far or 4 Year Strong for like a song, and then it's right back to metal.
Right back. Oh,
So that was like
the
how
good
I
old
got
days.
metal forced on me. And then that was probably sophomore in high school, junior in high school, going to my junior year. We did that a bunch, and then it kind of grew from there. Like Silverstein, I always listened to. Like Under Oath, I got into. Those were like as heavy as I got until more recently, probably in the last 6 or 7 years. And then it just got heavier from there because I've listened to more.
The nostalgia factor, driving around in cars, passing around an iPod. Kids will never understand again.
Simpler times, man.
Oh my God, it was the best. Like that used to be the thing to do rather than doing what we're doing now. Like this is our form of communication rather than I used to get a text, hey, picking you up in 5 minutes. Are you home? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the person's at your fucking house.
That's quite literally like anybody in our band is that victim of me just showing up and like, oh, we're going. Like, come on.
I'm chilling here. I'm chilling out doing my own thing. I get a text from him. It's like, on my way. And it's like, okay, I guess like I'll make sure I have pants on.
On my way, OMW. No, I do that to my friend Jeff. He'll just be sitting in his room and I'm like, we're going to Walmart. That's what we just did. Like, we're going to Walmart and he's sitting there watching Vanoss and I go, okay, too bad. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who fall victim to that from me. Because I'll be like, I'm bored. I'm done sitting at home. I'm going to go do something. And it's like, all right, well, I'm going to grab like 3 people in my car and we're going to go grab drinks or like.
It's that fucking meme. Get in, losers. We're doing whatever the fuck. Like,
yeah. How come I'm not included? I need to be included.
Text me. We'll go. I went to ramen with you once.
You went to where? Ramen? Oh, yeah, that's right. What was it? It wasn't, it was Ika.
Yeah, the one downtown.
Fuck yeah. I never knew that place was there. Until I don't know. Elena's like, yeah, let's go to Ika. And then I'm like, the one up in Benson? She's like, no, the one downtown. And I'm like, I didn't know there's the fucking one downtown.
It's been there like maybe a year. But I bartended downtown forever at Barrios. So with that, like, that's usually where I'm at. I'm either there or I'm in Dundee somewhere because that's where I grew up and I know most of the neighborhood.
Grew up in Dundee?
Yep.
Fancy boy.
Not really. My dad lived there his entire life, and when I was like 16, he got a duplex there, and I lived with him.
He says fancy boy for Dundee.
I mean, we're like happy.
Hey, Isaiah, where'd you grow up at, Isaiah?
West Omaha, 180th and Center.
Fancy boy. Fancy boy.
And to get this out of the way, I went to West Side, so just get it all out of your system. It's fine.
I don't know anything about that school because I'm from Council Bluffs. And now I swear to God, if you say shit, I'm driving to your house. I'm gonna plug in the aux cord, and I'm not gonna play pop punk.
I played rugby with a bunch of guys from Council Bluffs in high school, so I never had any issues with it. I still talk to a couple. My buddy Preston,
Preston Singleton.
Yes.
Yeah.
We played our senior year together, and we've stayed friends. And then I got a couple other buddies. My buddy Clay, he goes by Clay Monroe. He plays in Over the River Band.
Clay Galt. Yep. Grew up with both those guys.
Yep. I love Clay to death. I pick on him nonstop. He'll tell you the same thing, but nothing but love for the kid. But yeah, both of them are awesome dudes. Preston's got like a herd of kids now. I can't keep up.
Literally. I've never heard anybody refer to him as a herd of kids.
There's enough to where I don't know how many he has, but I know there's more than one.
Okay, fair. Yeah, him and his herd of kids, they just show up to this fucking party and eat all the cake. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so I've known those guys forever, and Preston was another kid that's like pop punk metalhead too. So me and him always
Yeah.
got along with rugby.
Why is it always like pop punk and metal? Like, why are those always like the two for like?
You have to even them out.
They can add as much as they want. Everyone listened to like Blink-182, Sum 41, New Found Glory when they're in like
But-
5th, 6th grade,
but
and then just slowly transition.
Right, but like, what is the transition there? Right?
Warped Tour.
Okay, okay, that makes sense.
That's really
All right,
it.
that
Like
makes
Warped
sense.
Tour, you go to see like the 4 pop punk bands, and you go to see bands between, and it's all metal bands for the next hour and a half. So you're like, all right, well, might as well check out one of them.
That
If
Or
they're
the
good,
Warped
you
Tour
check it
CDs.
out. That's pretty much how it happens. That's how a lot of metal bands I got into. Is I saw them live at Warped Tour for the first time.
you're right.
There's something about seeing a band live for the first time compared to listening like via CD or Spotify. Like I'd rather see a band live for the first time because I want to know, A, do they sound good live? Because if I hear a band on Spotify, obviously they're going to be mixed and sound like as best as they can. But if they can't put up a live performance, do I want to spend the money to go see them?
Yeah.
I agree with that. I still have like one of my best experiences that got me into a band was Miss May. I actually at Warped Tour in like 2011. They actually blew out the PA system while they were playing, and just kept fucking going. And mid crowd surf, I was wearing like khaki shorts, and somebody like grabbed my waistband and just pulled down and just ripped the full front of the crotch out. And so I'm there in like my boxers and a cut off T-shirt, walking around Warped Tour, and one of the guys in Icy Stars just threw me a pair of shorts because he saw what happened, which was pretty cool.
I have an Icy Stars drumstick.
I have an Icy.
That.
So that was like how I got into Miss May. Like first time I saw him, Eric wanted to see him, and I got dragged along to Warped Tour with him. And it was between bands that I wanted to see, so I went with them and got into them. They were really good for their first like half their set, and then they blew the PA system, just kept going. And you know, you really get to hear the raw sound of a band when there isn't any mixing or mastering. Like, they're playing straight amps. You couldn't hear the singer or anything, and they just kept going, rocking out, and had a blast with everybody.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I mean, what else are they going to do? Just stop their performance? Fuck it, just go. Make legends of yourself.
Some bands would.
Call them out. No, I'm just kidding. Don't call them out. Don't call them out.
No. Like no bands that I know personally. But like,
gotcha.
I'm sure that there are 100% some bands that if something like that happened, they absolutely would stop.
I mean, festivals are a little bit different. Like especially like I've played a couple bigger ones. It's dope.
I
mean,
mean,
from the start of the day to the end, like you got your time slot, and like if somebody goes over, it's gonna fuck up a bunch of the day and set everything back.
Right.
And so it's just go.
Well, and I mean, the other thing that, to your point too, about like what bands can do it live, what bands can't, and you want to see them live, like when PAs blow, when there's no monitors, nothing like that, like that's when you find out the bands that actually know their shit and know their music, and the bands that don't. The ones that can play without any of that setting or any kind of click, anything like that, that actually play as a band.
Or a band that relies like the way on backtracks, and their drummer's hit and play on a laptop, and when that laptop goes, they can't play.
Yeah, that's
right.
rough. Like seeing Enter Shikari at SoCal Underground, and it sucks, right? Because their stuff is so driven by the synths and backtracks. Right. And so seeing them live in SoCal years and years ago, they accidentally like kicked the power cable or something out of the laptop setup, and so it was just this like 5-6 minutes of downtime while they got everything rebooted and reconnected, and they had to cut like 2-3 songs from their set, and they're like, I remember it was I Wrestled a Bear once, then it was Enter Shikari, then it was Bless the Fall, and finally it was like August Burns Red.
I mean, like,
it was a fucking clusterfuck of a tour, but goddamn, it was cool. Yeah, like everybody was really, really bummed that Shikari had to cut their set.
Enter Shikari once, and they were with Icy Stars and Falling Universe in Kansas City. And I got drugged to that show by Eric again. So thank him for getting me into metal music.
Shikari's a great live show.
And the singer quite literally like climbed to the top of a PA that was probably 15 feet in the air and just jumped off of it.
Yep.
And would just go nuts the whole time. And I'm just there like, how is he singing? Like, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, I get pretty at our shows, and I start throwing people around, but, like, I would not want to climb 15 feet in the air and just jump off.
Another one that does shit like that is Jason Butler from what used to be Let Live and now The Fever, 333.
Yeah.
He has a highlight montage of him doing crazy shit like that, jumping off the stage, like off of the, I don't know, the risers and shit, or like running into a drum set and breaking it, or there's a video of him with a steel trash can.
But Pete Wentz was fucking nuts doing that shit too.
Goddamn Pete Wentz!
I remember seeing him at Sokol hanging upside down from the rafters and just playing his parts. This is like Take This to Your Grave. Maybe Under the Cork Tree just came out when I saw him then. So that far back. But he was fucking nuts to watch on stage too.
All right, let's settle a debate here. Which one's a better band, Panic or Fall Out Boy?
Fuck them both.
What era are we going?
Oh, we're going old school, like 2000. Let's say 2007. I don't know what albums were out in 2007.
2007, you would have had one Panic album, two Fall Out Boy albums, probably roughly. I'm guessing maybe two of each. But okay. I'd probably lean Fall Out Boy then. Panic at the Disco has stayed more consistent, but they're also like it's just a Brandon Urie show because the rest of the band's gone.
Yep.
So like, take it for what it is. Like the guy's an amazing singer, but like the guy who wrote that whole first album's music is not in that band anymore, and that was the album that blew them up because it was just so off and theatrical, but still like angsty and pop punky.
I still jam that shit. I still play it on the drums sometimes. And also, you're talking about like if the power and stuff goes out and you can't hear yourself and the headphones people quit. I fucking drop a drumstick and I'm like, I can't play anymore. I'm so embarrassed. Like I'm just playing at home and I just miss and I go, fuck, what do I do now? And then I gotta like try to catch on. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Not hearing myself because when I play on stage, when I play bass, I don't use an amp. I use a Sans amp and just DI straight in. There's not an amp behind me. So if I'm not in front of the monitor that has my bass in it, I can't hear myself. And I run around like an asshole. You can ask Kayla about this. There's been a couple times she's caught the head of my bass sock into her back and it's cut her open.
Oh, yikes.
You were at one of the shows.
I'm sure I was.
It was
goddamn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was at the slowdown. I spun and I smacked her with my bass really fucking hard in the back and got her with one of the peg. Kayla got abused on stage because I don't have spatial awareness. I'm a very big person.
Spatial awareness.
My band now suffers from it. Joey gets ran into constantly on stage.
Yeah, because if you hit me and I fuck up, everybody notices. You can hit Joey and he can fuck up and nobody notices. there's slightly more respect for me.
I don't know. I've hit you a couple times. There's usually like this dirty look we'll both give each other where we'll bump into each other.
Or he'll step on my foot or something. And
we'll stop and just be like.
No, I mean, like, keep playing, like, absolutely 100%, like, in the fucking zone still playing. But, like, there's definitely
there's this side-eye glance we both give each other. And it's just like, fuck you.
You know.
You're talking about bass and hitting people. There was an old video. This is back from, like, 2011, 2012. When Superior was still running the shit.
Oh, man.
And the bassist is playing like this, and he fucking hits James, the vocalist, and hits him in the ear and cut his ear open, and he's finishing the song bleeding out of his fucking face.
I remember
was that Zane originally, or was it that Kyle who replaced him, the blonde kid?
Oh, I don't know names. I just know it's out of the Commons. There's a video.
Come on, man! Fucking like Superior is like fucking Omaha metal royalty.
They are for sure. I just know. Oh, I know. You remember when they used to run shit though, like that. Superior plays, you're there.
Opposite end of the music scene. So like all the metal guys, like all the guys from Your Last Chance, love all those guys to death. We had no idea who each other were. We've all been in the music scene since like high school. opposite ends. I was like playing with bands like Straight Out Junior High, The Cash Flow. Shout out to my friend Ashley and Caps Lock Friday. One of my best friends is the reason I play guitar and bass is Jazz, and she played Sugar Free Satire. Like, I was on the pop punk side of things and doing that side of things. And then everyone that's, like, in bands that I'm around now has been doing the metalcore or post-hardcore thing since they were 16 and have been in that group. So it's been, like, a complete 180 of, like, people I'm around that's still all music scene in Omaha.
Yeah, I'd love to see James get back into a band. Obviously, Kelton's in a band. He's in Witherfang.
Yeah,
He's like,
Kelton's really, really fucking good.
thank you. I was about to say that.
Yeah, Kelton's really, really fucking good. It sucks because I'd love to see a Superior reunion, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, it'd be the fourth time, by the way.
Randy's out doing his thing with photography and doing a fucking amazing job, right? Like, love that dude. Respect for him. The original guitar player, Matt McMillan, isn't as far as he's not doing music as far as I know, man. I saw him at the Whitechapel show, and he asked me to come, and he was going to write essentially like 2 albums worth of stuff. He wanted me to play bass on it, and that was.
Oh, also, don't let him talk shit about bass players because he was a bass player first.
Yeah, and then I fucking grew a pair of balls and got the fuck out of that world.
Ooh, shots fired.
No, respect to all bass players out there. We actually do need you.
Except for Joey. Fuck Joey.
Trust me, I used to be the same way. I never really appreciated basses. And I'll give you an example. You remember when the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold died?
Yeah.
When I got the news, I go, why couldn't it be Johnny Christ?
That's fucked up, but I get what you're saying. That's fucked up.
I was so pissed off. I was like so heartbroken. I'm like, why not the fucking bassist? Why did you have to take the drummer? Fuck the bassist, Johnny Christ. Nobody gives a shit about that guy. That's how much I used to hate bass, and now.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's just like.
Fuck, man. Any song without bass is gonna just feel empty. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it took so much time to actually realize that, and especially in hardcore, like if you have no low end, everything's just gonna sound hollow. It's gonna sound. Meh.
Hell yeah. Blown out speaker.
You're missing that punch, that oomph, the cojones.
You need a couple of these. Boom, 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 boom.
You need some cool slides. There is 100% like some life bass can add to things with like some bass runs on chord progressions and like some slides and stuff. Like there's some cool shit bass does add, but I don't know. In this line of music, you use it to kind of just round out tones more than you do like part of like the music.
I don't know. Vale of Maya's bassist begs to differ. He's pretty damn.
There's always an exception.
There is always an exception.
Shit. I mean, look, I started I would say one of my biggest influences and what got me to start playing was Iron Maiden, and it's because of Steve Harris, their bass player. The dude's a fucking madman, and that's what I started learning was a bunch of Iron Maiden bass lines. Like, you take his bass out of those songs, and fuck, man, those songs aren't even like.
Those songs are garbage.
I mean, I'm not gonna go quite to the point of garbage, but like, they're definitely not the same.
In the song "Run to the Hills," does he play with his fingers or does he pick?
He finger all the time, as far as I know. He just gets a fucking crazy like triple finger fucking gallop thing going on the entire time.
Yeah, I could not imagine. Don't put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up. Ugh. I can't do the fucking. I can't do that.
Don't bother me.
Oh. Doesn't bother me. This guy's played bass for what, 10 years? I guess how old are you?
Not 10. I played guitar until I was like, I don't know, 22, 23. So.
Oh.
6 years. 6 years.
Kyle, Kyle, you're going the wrong way. You're supposed to like transition from bass to guitar, not guitar to bass.
I'm just throwing this out there. Guitar players in any music scene are a dime a dozen.
Ooh.
But you get a bass player that can do harmonies and sing behind somebody, you can't find them.
He actually has a point. Like, that's the same reason. Like, I was actually going to sell my entire bass rig and my bass. And then here's a throwback for you. I saw through like Facebook that The World We Knew was looking for a bass player. And I was like, let me just hold on to this shit because, like, Omaha's like a second home to them. So, like, I might be able to work my way into this and just fucking, you know, skip this whole building a band and just jump into a decent situation.
Yeah. Just jump into The World We Knew and fucking join Frankie. God,
I mean,
that
that's
band.
I've been in like every band that I've been in from high school. Like when I went from guitar to play bass. When I play guitar, I was always like, all right. I started off doing like basic lead stuff because like the afterthought was like pop band, and jazz wanted to do is like Bruno Marsy stuff. There's a little bit of rap in there, and it was cool. But the leads are usually really simple when I did have to do them when we started it. And then when we started the band, it was like 7-8 people in it, and we had an upright bass player and all that. And then it broke down. From there, I moved out of the band after a couple shows, and then it progressed. They kept going, got a new guitar player besides me. Went through another couple lineup changes. Then I came back in when I booked Jazz for a show with Tommy and the High Pilots, and the whole band just like couldn't do it. So I was like, all right, well, screw it. I'll hop on bass this time. And we got Derek Bird to come fill in on drums. And then that lineup kind of stuck for like a year and a half, 2 years. And we just had fun playing shows, and just there was never anything super serious. And at the same time as that, I was doing Take Me to Vegas playing bass. And then after that, I took about a year off from music. Right? I just wasn't interested in doing it. And then started working with him at First Data. And he knew where I was roughly from my previous bands and needed a bass player. And
Well, the first night we met was sitting outside of fucking Barrios, and like I was asking you about Grassroots.
Yeah, that was an interesting show.
I'll get something to drink while you tell this shit.
There are so many stories from that weekend between me, my singer Josh from Take Me to Vegas, who's the singer of Hurricane Like Me Now, Jameson Figueroa, or Jameson Figtree now. He changed his last name when he got married to the English version with his wife Patty. And then Casey Mankin, who records us, was the other guitar player after the fall at the time. And Casey manages and bartends at Parliament. And me and Jameson were in there with him till like 4 or 5 in the morning while he was closing up. And we had to be to Grassroots the next morning for sound check at 8 a.m. And I remember Josh calling me at like 8:15. We're like sound check is supposed to be like 8:30, and so we're supposed to all meet at Brad's house at 8 o'clock. It was like 8:15. I wake up to Josh calling me. I had like 35 missed calls, and going, "Hey, are you here? Like, where are you at?" And so hauled ass to Brad's, loaded up all my gear, hauled ass to Grassroots with Josh in my car. Get there, still completely drunk as fuck from the night before. We played first on the last day of it, and it was like 100 degrees out, all black stage, sun directly on us because the stage was facing east, and the sun was just hitting us first thing in the morning. And I remember Josh looking at me to the second to last song right before we started our last song, Coda, and going, "Are you gonna make it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll make it." And I just see little black spots everywhere. And just thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die." Mind you, like, the backs of our shoes were melting on the stage while we're up there. Like, I still have the pair of shoes, I kept them. It's a pair of Vans I have, and the whole backs of them were just gone. It's just one solid piece of rubber. There's no tread left, and they were like brand new shoes when I went on stage. And I remember getting off stage, going to the sides of the stage just from heat stroke, just losing it everywhere. And then went back, grabbed t-shirts, threw them out into the crowd with me and Blake, and then immediately went off stage and went and fell into one of the water tubs with all the water bottles. It's filled. It was like one of those plastic tubs. You know, it's like this big, and one of those little plastic ones with the 2 handles. You put the lid on it. It just fills with water and ice with water bottles in it. I remember just flopping over into this thing and laying there, and Josh coming up, and me just handing him a water bottle. Here you go, buddy.
The closest thing to a walk-in fridge you can find.
Oh man, there's a video somewhere like of a recap of that for our show with that, and the whole time you see me in it, I'm just lobster red, burnt. Like you see me in the very beginning of the video, and I'm my normal pasty ass white self, and like within like a couple shots, you just progressively see me get more sunburn as you watch this thing. And
Sounds
it's a
painful.
started Friday night. We didn't play till Sunday. I had the whole week off of work, didn't have anything else going on, and just drank and had a blast the whole time. And by the end of that weekend, I was fried, burnt, just done.
Well, let's hope we get back to it soon. I mean, what's your prediction on when we get shows back?
From what I've been reading from any article that I can find on it, because I've just been watching everything everywhere, some places are saying like October, November. Other places are like mid-2021, they're saying.
Ugh. Oh.
Atlanta's saying
It's
5 in the morning.
You know what it's like? This is comparable to being in the Midwest, and in April, we have a nice 70-degree day, and then it does a change up on us and says it's supposed to snow the next day, and then it just feels like it keeps snowing. Like this is what like no live music feels like. It's about to be summer, and now it's snowing.
Yeah, it's been a pretty big drag through this whole thing for sure. I'm definitely ready to be back on stage. I've been itching. Like anybody who has me on Snapchat that's been getting Snapchats of us working on stuff and stuff like that, and have talked to me like after they've gotten the snap or whatever and messaged back. It's like I'm just ready to be on stage.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, like I'm excited to show off the new tunes, but it's been kind of nice to have the ability to step back and actually work on that without having to worry about like, well, what happens if we don't take this offer, if we don't do this show, if we don't do, right? Like it's been nice to have a little bit of break to focus on the new stuff instead of having to continue to just keep yourself like relevant.
It's a good mindset. I mean, you might be the first person to, well, I guess there's a couple people. They actually find the positives in it. They have time to work now. Like you said, you don't have to stress about taking show offers. The guys in Downhearted, Taylor's a new vocalist. It sounds like he's already got 6 or 7 songs written just in the time that they've had quarantine.
I messaged Andy and kind of busted his chops from Your Last Chance as well. Asked him when he was putting out some new stuff. So he said he's working on stuff eventually. So hopefully here's something new.
And you guys said your stuff is going to be coming. We're going to be recording in June.
Yes, we'll be going with Casey June 1st is the plan. So
June 1st.
With the schedule we got kind of planned out, we're hoping to have most of the album done by like mid-July.
I mean,
when do you expect to have it out?
I think we're shooting to be kind of close to final mixing by July. So hopefully have finalized product come August latest.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
At least have a single out or something. Like I said, we're kind of just playing it by ear with this COVID stuff. No one really knows. Some places, especially this like open back up like it is, like it's tentative. Like everyone's saying it's going to open back up and close back down in another 2-3 weeks.
I mean,
so
I'm looking, even if stuff gets back up and running, you also got to think about, are people going to still come out and risk that, right? Like what is the actual, regardless of what the government allows us to do or not to do, are people going to step up and show up because they're bored, or are they going to play it safe and say, yo, I want to give this till March, April of 21 before like I'm willing to kind of risk any of that kind of interaction.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're just playing by ear. But the plan is like as soon as we can, we want to have this album ready and do a CD release party and get all our friends and everyone who's supported us over the last 2 years or so that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Get everyone in a room. it doesn't happen very often, especially when you start getting your late 20s. Everyone's having kids. I had 3 friends that one just found out they're having a boy in a couple months, and that's my friend Maddie. And my buddy Zion just had a little boy, and my buddy Austin just had a little girl in the last 2-3 weeks here. And so, you get to that age where everyone's got stuff going on family-wise or career-wise where not everyone gets to hang out like we used to. So, like, shows are kind of our excuse to do that when we can. So that's, like, my favorite part about it is it's my one time I get to have everyone I love to see in a room together. And just, if you ask anybody when you see me at Lookout or the waiting room or Slow Down or anywhere when we're doing shows, I bounce from person to person to person all night talking to everybody, trying to see everyone I can for that one time I get to in 4 to 5 months because I'm probably not going to see him until the next one.
Shit, I mean, over the past couple of years, like shows have been – I've reconnected with Taylor, now of Downhearted, right? Like, but Taylor came into Your Last Chance, and I was stoked at that point because I knew all of these guys from playing shows with them and being around them at shows for the past, 15 years now. Like,
right.
And
I got the last 4 on that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're talking I've been playing with Andy and Alex and Taylor and JR, even Twig, who's now in Stronghold. I mean, I've been playing with all those guys for 10, 15 years now, whether it be in bands or just same shows, different bands, man. There's a few of us that are still out here doing it, man. But yeah, that's been really cool about it is just running into all those guys and reconnecting like that again.
Yeah, if I was to take a guess as far as the risk factor goes, or as far as how Omaha's going to deal with it, obviously it's got to start with the promoters who's willing to put on the show. And if the show's willing to be put on, I think you're going to see Omaha turn out. I think Omaha's going to show up to the very first local show and just ball out. And if it's not sold out, I would be kind of shocked. Let's just say that. That's my prediction, at least. What about you guys?
I think it's just going to completely depend how this next couple months through the summer goes. They're doing this tentative reopening everything right now, and especially with the industry I work in the restaurant industry and do direct support to thousands of restaurants every day for my job. They're all rushing to open back up because, of course, you can't stay closed for 2 months. You're not paying your bills. But at the same time, it's this. In Omaha's case, we haven't had a drop in cases. It's only been increasing still. So it's all right, so where's the risk reward on this that we're really trying to balance? And I think if the risk is high on this and it does backfire and we end up having to go to another closure pretty quick here before venues or bars can really get going again, it's going to make the next time around even harder because it already is now, are people going to risk it? If it flops once, the second time around, it's not even probably going to be a thought. It's going to be, all right, well, we already went through this once. Everyone's going to wait it out.
Right. If it came back one time, who's to say it's not going to come back again? So you kind of sit there and re-amp the fear aspect of everything. But, I mean, I look at it as it's going to be one or the other. Either nobody's going to show up or everybody's going to show up. There's not going to be really a middle ground on things. I think that's kind of what we're looking at when it finally ends up happening. Now, the whole venue side of things, that's a completely different conversation, and I hope that we can figure out a way to try to help the few venues that we have here in Omaha still, because that's another we talk about that every now and then just over the course of the past 10 years, how many venues have we gone through? The Rock down in Papillion is no more. The Rocks and the Roxbury up 108th and Q gone. You used to have the Mosaic / the Commons down on 13th Street.
Which is kind of going again now. I've been to a show there since they've done the Faces thing.
But that was dead for 8 years.
So, and then you got Lookout, which is, home away from home for most of us.
Nobody's really booking anything out of Sokol.
Yeah, not as much anymore unless there's a bigger band coming through that you're opening up for that's booked there. But as far as just 4 local bands on a Tuesday night, you don't see it very much anymore.
Right. Well, guys, let's end with this. Let's end on a positive note. Let's let's do this. I'm trying to think of an original question I haven't asked anybody yet. Positive. Okay. God, this is really hard to think of on the spot. How about this? Plug everything. So plug your Spotify, plug your merch, all that stuff, and I'll try to think of a question in the meantime.
So, we got Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, stuff's up on YouTube. Ghost Killer Entertainment, big shout out to them. They just shared our last single. So that's up there. Go check them out. Go check out all the bands on there. Shout out to Ink Poisoning Apparel. They sponsor us and hook us up with a bunch of cool gear. I'm actually wearing one of their shirts now. So go check them out. Steve from Bleth is one of the owners. And then Matt Owens, who's been a big part of the scene and owns the Green Room downtown. Runs all that and it's been around forever. Support those guys, local business.
Fair enough. And then what I'll do, how about this? I just teased you guys. I'm going to save the fun questions for the questionnaire, so you won't see it till next Wednesday. So, boom. How about this? We're going to end it. So this is episode 34 with No Loss, No Regrets. If you can't see it, here's my little sign that I bought. Ta-da!
Ah!
All right.
There's the plug, motherfucker.
Any last words, guys?
No, thanks for having us on. It was great talking to you. We'll have to hang out, go grab some food once everything opens up and it's safe to go for sure again, and grab some drinks once he's available to do that too, and you're available to do that, and everyone's free.
Yeah, hopefully come July we can get some things planned out for some just local chill stuff.
Oh, for sure. I'll have you guys over anytime. But until then, we're out of here. Peace.
Later.